Greetings from Greyhound Nation. I'm Doc Elder. I'm the broadcaster for Eastern New Mexico University Athletics. My privilege to be the host for Greyhound Women's Basketball Media Day for the 2019-2020 campaign. I've got sitting beside me the head coach of Greyhound Women's Basketball, Josh Prock. And Coach, welcome to Media Day.
It's crazy. It's already here, isn't it, Doc? It just sounds like the other day we were finishing up our talk for the NCAA tournament. Next thing you know, it's a new season. So really looking forward to it. Great young ladies on this team, and just can't wait to get started on this journey with them.
Speaking of the NCAA tournament, of course, we were 0.7 of a second away from advancing to the second round, and definitely a disappointing note, but certainly set expectations for this year. Yeah,
there's a lot to build on there. I was very proud of our young ladies for how they played in that game and throughout the year. I mean, you look at 2 of the last 3 years, been to the NCAA tournament, had a conference championship, pretty much been knocking on the door at 20 wins, every year. But there's a lot to build on. We had a lot coming back. Really excited about the newcomers that we have this year as well, too. So it's going to be a fun year.
And speaking of newcomers, there are many newcomers to the Lone Star Conference in a completely different format this year.
Yeah, we have a format where you have 3 different pods of 6 teams. And so we added the Heartland Conference, and just fortunate enough for us, one of the teams we added was Lubbock Christian, So definitely made for a difficult pod, but that's why you coach. You want the challenge, and Coach Gomez and those guys do a great job. But our pod is going to be difficult. I mean, you have West Texas, Angelo State, Western New Mexico, and UTPB. So it's going to be difficult, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Coach, you did mention the fact that you have some mainstays coming back, but you also have some newcomers, and we actually have a newcomer with a microphone in her hand right now. We've got Jasmine Williams. And Jasmine, what was the process that got you to Eastern New Mexico to play this year?
Okay, well, last year I went to South Carolina State University, in which I had surgery at the beginning of the year. I sat out basically the whole year. Then I got a phone call on my visit to a school from Coach Prock, and basically showing his interest in me. I talked to my old coach. Him and my old coach are very good friends. I had a lot of faith in the team. He told me about how the girls were, how they was dogs, and we just had hunger and heart, and that's one that I wanted to end my year on a good season and a good team. So that's the reason why I came to this team.
Very good. Well, let's pass the microphone to Chelsea Hunter. And Chelsea, during the course of your career, you've been asked to bring the ball up the court sometimes. Sometimes you play the shooting guard. Sometimes you've even played a little small forward. What's your process of getting ready to play in a game when you don't actually know which position you're going to be playing the most minutes at?
Yes, the coaches do a really great job at preparing us to just be ready. So the whole thought process is just to stay ready and keep our poise.
All right. Well, let's pass the microphone to the next young lady. This is Zam Cox. And Zam, graduate of Portales High School, and lo and behold, that's where Eastern New Mexico is located. So how cool is it to be able to play college ball in the town that you grew up in?
I love it. It's a big reason of why I picked here. My family's here, and all the people that have supported me and coached me growing up. I also like that I know a lot of the younger, girls and players, so they can look up to me. And then just the whole town is super supportive, and I just love playing here. It's awesome.
Very good. Well, let's pass the microphone back to the young lady behind you. This is Natalie DeLong. And Natalie, I'll ask you the same question that I asked Jasmine. What was the process that got you from the beautiful Pacific Northwest down to Portales, New Mexico?
Well, it's funny you say that because I originally never saw myself going to New Mexico. But it was really Coach Prock, the type of guy that he is just as a person, and his philosophy as a coach really drew me to the program. After watching film on the team, it was obvious to me that there's a lot of talent, a lot of depth on this team, and we have a potential to go a really long ways and do something special this year.
Very good. Well, let's pass the microphone to the next young lady. This is Alivia Lewis, the pride of Albuquerque, New Mexico. And Alivia, you were a freshman. You didn't know kind of what your playing role would be. You obviously, by the end of the season, had become one of the most effective shot blockers and rebounders in the Lone Star Conference. If there was a game during your freshman year where you really recognized, I can play on the D2 level, what game was it?
The game that I think proved to me that I was able to play in this league was probably when we played CSU Pueblo at the Canyon, or the tournament in Canyon. They had a really tall girl, Molly something. I don't remember her last name, but she kind of intimidated me at first, but I was able to basically shut her down, and she was their top scorer, and blocking her shot at the end of the game to basically win the game was kind of boosted my confidence and kind of made me realize like I could do this. So
very good. Well, let's pass the microphone over to Jerry Smith. And Jerry, of course, you were a newcomer. Now you're one of the veterans. And how has your role changed from being a newcomer to being one of the returners from last year's squad?
I think all I need to do was just get adjusted, and I came with a whole new mindset this year to really get after the spot, and no spots are given. I have to earn it, so just ready to fight for everything. And
there you go.
yep.
Well, Jerry, we're actually going to start the process going the other way, so I'll ask you a question, then we'll pass the microphone the other way. If you had to, just from the young ladies, getting to know them and playing a little basketball on your free time with them, if you could say there's one characteristic that you're going to carry into the season, what do you think is going to be the characteristic of this year's squad?
My characteristics?
Or the team? Are you going to be good offensively, defensively? Going to be tenacious?
My favorite is defense. I love blocking shots and talking and letting everyone know where to defend.
Very good. All right, Alivia, let's ask you the question. Of course, last year, like we said, the Greyhound women's basketball team got invited to the NCAA's, 0.7 of a second away from advancing to the second round. What was it, if you had to say there was one thing that you ladies did really well last year that you hope you can do well again this year, what was that thing?
Last year, I think what helped us a lot is we had a really strong chemistry, and I think that really helped us just get as far as we went, and we were able just to play and score really well together just because of that chemistry. So I think that's, if we get that this year, which I think we already have a great chemistry, so I think we're going to be able to go far.
Very good. Well, Natalie, let's ask you a question on a personal level. Who have been the biggest influences on you to help you become not only the player that you are, but the young lady that you are?
For me, I'd have to say is my dad. He's always been there every game, every practice that he was allowed to attend. He was there. He really just pushed me and gave me confidence in myself and my ability. He never boasted about me, but in a way he just drove me to practice and work hard every day. And thankfully for him, I really don't think I'd be where I am if it wasn't for him. So I'm thankful for him.
Very good. Well, let's pass it up to Zam. Zam, in that game against WT, where you were 0.7 of a second from going to the second round, you hit a huge three-pointer with less than a minute to go. What does it say about the confidence that Josh Prock has in you that you were A, on the court, and B, you had the green light to put up that shot?
For sure. No, ever since, I started, he was talking to me to come here. And then when we started the season, he's definitely made me feel like he believes in me. The whole coaching staff has. And so I think in that moment, it was just, throughout the whole season, actually, if we need to score and I have the opportunity, I know he believes in me to, take the chance and take the shot. So I'm confident that he's confident in me. So
very good.
That's important.
Let's pass it over to Chelsea. And of course, Chelsea, you're a product of Lubbock, Texas. Most of the teams in our pod are from the western side of Texas. A little bit more incentive to know that you're playing against schools that could have recruited you?
Yes. I actually kind of like it because, one, I get to kind of go back to the area where I've come from, and two, it's just kind of gives me motivation playing against somewhere that I come from and a lot of players that I played with when I was younger and also against.
Well, Jasmine, we'll actually ask you the last question of the players. You have a very bubbly personality, and if you're going to be a leader on this team, do you lead by words, do you lead by example, or are you going to try and be a leader through both?
I think everyone's different, and with me, I'm kind of a special character. I kind of do both. I lead by example, but at the same time, you're gonna hear what I have to say. With Coach Proc, him helping me out a lot, showing me, you don't have to just say what you mean all the time. Sometimes you can do what you say, and then go from there. Like I said, with this team, I just feel like kind of how piggybacking how Liv was saying, the chemistry that we're having is really, the bond is there, it's getting there. We have a lot of different leaders on our team, different characteristics on our team that makes this team we stick like glue. I feel like overall it's going to be a really good season for us.
Very good. Well, Josh, we'll turn back and ask you one last question in the time that we've got left. I asked one of your players, I asked Jerry about if there is one attribute that she could say is definitely going to be a characteristic of the team. If there's one thing at the end of the season when we do take that next step and we win games in the NCAA tournament, what do you hope that characteristic is?
Well, I've always believed in a phrase of you achieve what you emphasize, and I think we've continuously emphasized within our program defense, and transition defense, things of that nature. Like, I really appreciate a phrase that Coach Beard kind of made famous last year, the coach of Texas Tech. He said, defense travels. Defense travels wherever you go. And so that's one thing that we're really trying to get our kids to buy into each and every day. And to their credit, they are. So, by the end of the year, I hope people definitely know us as a dominant defensive team. And to me, that's what wins the games.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the success you've had at Eastern, and let's hope this is literally and figuratively a banner year for us.
Well, thank you, Doc. We're looking forward to the year.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up Media Day Greyhound women's basketball style for 2019-2020. So, for right now, this is Doc Elder saying, so long.